afternoon and welcome to Biztech Asia's Asian Midday Market Watch. It's the 14th of May, a lovely Tuesday, and I'm your host today, Jeffrey Halley. Our guest today is Glenn Yin, Head of Research and Analytics at AETOS Capital Group down in Australia. Glenn, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me again, Jeff.
Well, as usual, we'll start with a quick roundup of the price action in Asia-Pacific equity markets, and then we'll get into your burning issues for today, Glenn. So it's been a fairly quiet day in Asian stock markets today so far. The Nikkei 225 is almost unchanged, up just just moving to unchanged on the day. Shanghai Composite is down just 0.12%. Hong Kong is almost unchanged, up 0.02%. The S&P ASX 200 down in Australia ahead of the federal budget tonight is down 0.42%. South Korea's Kospi down just 0.1%. The Straits Times in Singapore is down 0.1% also, while Kuala Lumpur's KLSC is up 0.15%. Glenn, looks like a fairly quiet day today. What are your thoughts on what is a very benign set of price actions across the region?
Yes, Jeff, it looks like another Goldilocks kind of market today. As I think it looks like markets are really pricing in and getting ready for the US CPI for tomorrow being the biggest event of the week. So it's understandable that most markets are geared up for that event. So Australia is a little bit different because we are getting ready for the federal budget tonight.
Right, so it's sort of a hurry up and wait day. Talking about the Australian federal budget, due out tonight, lots of eyes on it. Apparently the Australian federal budget will be predicting that inflation will actually move to its target range 12 months earlier than perhaps the RBA is expecting. Why is that, Glenn?
Yeah, Jeff. So we won't know the full details until the Treasury releases the full package tonight. But like you said, there's a lot of juicy points in the budget, and of course, Australia is looking forward to seeing those details. So first of all, we are on track to score the first back-to-back budget surplus since the Great Financial Crisis in 2008. We're projected to pocket $9.3 billion, while the rest of the world, the developed world, is in deficit. So this is certainly a great political selling point for the Australian Labor Party and a good source of leverage for the next election at this time next year. But before that critical time happens, like you said, Jeff, the Treasurer mentioned something even more spectacular. That is, we can bring inflation down to our target range by the end of the year, not next year like forecasted by the RBA, which reckons inflation will inch higher to 3.8% by the end of 24 before cooling down to 3%, the top band of the range by the end of 25.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this came as a shock to everyone, including most analysts. And people are questioning whether the RBA is being overly pessimistic about inflation or whether the federal government is selling too much hope too early. But here's the thing. After all, the RBA runs the monetary policies while the Treasury manages fiscal policies. So with enormous savings were accumulating in the past 2 years, this is a pretty good sign we haven't been stimulating the economy from the fiscal side. Hence the lower inflation forecast. If we keep doing so, the inflation will be somewhere in between, or hopefully it will be lower as the Treasury himself predicted. We'll find out full details tonight, though.
Mm-hmm. As a Kiwi, I'm looking at that inflation story and that fiscal surplus with some envy, I will admit. So the big numbers this week is going to be US inflation. So we have US PPI tonight, and we have consumer price index being released tomorrow. What are you expecting for these numbers, and what implications will they have for Australian and United States equity markets?
Yes, Jeff. The rest of the week is dominated by US data and the key speakers again. We'll see PPI tonight at 10:30 Australian Eastern Time. And being a leading indicator, it should give us a good guidance as to where the CPI will be headed in May. Then we will have April CPI tomorrow, probably the biggest data of the week. And most importantly, it's projected to cool down slightly after several consecutive months of rebounding. And of course, Fed Chair Jerome Powell and the voting member Christopher Waller will be delivering key speeches before and after the CPI review. So yes, plenty of volatilities on the radar, and this seems to be optimistically priced in by markets already. As we can see, US benchmark indices have regained lost grounds and are within striking distances of historical highs. And like we covered at the beginning of the show, most markets are sort of in that Goldilocks position. They're ready to see, ready to wait for, and ready to party on for the CPI data.
You can't keep the optimism down on Wall Street, that's for sure. Glenn, thanks so much for your insights today. It's always a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
We've been speaking to Glenn Yin, Head of Research and Analytics at AETOS Capital Group in Australia. This has been Biztech's Asian Midday Market Watch, and I'm Jeffrey Halley. This video and podcast will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our social media platforms. You can also see it with our syndication partners on their TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for tuning in today.